and you are. We are Citizen Outbreak. Welcome to the podcast.
Hello. Welcome back to another episode of Citizen Outbreak. Matthew.
Rudy.
You're back. You're back. How was Stagecoach?
Stagecoach was amazing.
I'm jealous.
I loved Stagecoach. First of all, you know, I was told beforehand that it was like the grown-up Coachella. I haven't been to Coachella, but first of all, American flags everywhere. The vibe was so great. Everybody was just so happy and friendly. And just the energy was really great. I listened to some great music. You know who Sam Barber is?
Yeah.
You don't like him?
I do.
Oh, and for everybody, Rudy's introduced me to some country, and I've been getting to like it more and more. But I didn't know Sam Barber before I went there. And Ella Langley.
Yeah, she's hot right now.
She's great.
She's hot right now. She got a lot of heat recently.
Why?
Is it? I think she's the one that was following Charlie Kirk on Instagram.
That's a bad thing.
Is that her? Hold on. I think that was her that was following.
And then I saw Bush. Did you see the thing I put up?
Yeah, it was Ella Langley. She was following Charlie Kirk.
Yeah.
And the left went after her. Ella Langley.
Yeah, but she was, I thought she was great.
Ella Langley follows Charlie Kirk's show on TikTok and fans erupt. Rising country singer Ella Langley is facing backlash from some fans after it was discovered that she follows the Charlie Kirk show on TikTok. Critics have accused her of endorsing the conservative commentator's views, with some calling for boycotts of her music. Others have defended her, arguing that simply following an account does not necessarily mean she agrees with every opinion expressed on it. Ella Langley has not publicly commented on the controversy.
Well, she was fantastic. I'm an Ella Langley fan. Did you see that I saw Bush also?
I don't understand what Bush was doing there. Not George Bush, but the band Bush.
First of all, by the way,
Gavin Rosdale.
So there's that song Glycerine, which I love.
Yeah.
And there's that famous thing of him singing it in the rain.
Yeah.
Okay.
It started raining?
No, we were evacuated at Stagecoach.
Oh, the wind?
Yes,
wind.
Yeah, I mean we were evacuated. There was so much. I mean, there was so much dust that I took a Pell. I got a tan. I was like 4 shades darker from the dust, and we had to. I walked 40,000 steps in 2 days.
Oh wow!
I mean, the grounds were massive, and because of the evacuation, we had to walk for a long time. But Bush. It was funny. Like, I don't know what they were doing there either. After them was supposed to be Journey at that stage. I was super psyched for Journey. I don't know what Journey was doing at, Stagecoach is funny because I think the Sunday night headliner who I didn't stay for, I ended up leaving before, was Post Malone.
Yeah.
And Pitbull was going to do something somewhere.
But Post Malone is country now. He's got he's got that country album.
Yeah. Look, I mean, Sam Barber was awesome. The venue.
I love Bailey Zimmerman.
He was great.
Yeah, I love Bailey Zimmerman.
He was great. Yeah, sorry. He was great. I did catch a bunch of his stuff. I mean, the music was great. The vibes were great. The weather was great. You know, not Saturday was a bummer that it got closed, but it was also a fun experience. I can't recommend. I mean, I really recommend it. Stagecoach was awesome.
One day I will go. One day it's just a pain in the ass. You got to fly to LA. You got to drive over to India.
So I drove back on from there on Sunday. I had a beautiful drive.
How far is it from LA? Like an hour and a half.
Yeah, and then you deal with. I mean, I drove into Santa Monica and I had dinner at Shutters, and then I went to the LAX.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a. I'd rather go to CMA Fest in Nashville.
I'm sure that's awesome.
It's the same. It's almost the same lineup.
You know, I'm not as exposed to this as you are. So, and I'm also not a huge. I'm not really like when I was a young guy. I used to go to Lollapalooza when I was a kid.
Oh, yeah.
I did just surf the crowd.
Yeah.
I went like Lollapalooza, but no, I loved it. I really
it's an experience. I
thought that Sam Barber was great.
I always get invited to go. You know, I went to college with this girl. I'm not going to mention her name. She was a little bit older than me, and her family actually owns the land and are partners in the Coachella and Stagecoach.
Did you see the numbers on these things? They're doing pretty good.
But when, you know, they were, you know, it's a big business, but in the beginning it wasn't such a big business, but now it's a big business. I don't know how much longer they could go. There's been rumors that Coachella is going to have to move somewhere, but that's been rumors for years.
Why?
Just, you know, some people that are surrounding are happy about it, and the businesses are happy because they make a lot of money, and then there's people that aren't happy about it.
Right. I mean, I went into I went to the CVS, and Starbucks was right there next in that same like little plaza. And the lady, I saw her both days, and she was like, you know, it's different, you know, it's like you could see it's that energy. Like they got walloped the week before, you know, like the 2 weeks before by Coachella, and then they had Stagecoach coming in. You know, I mean, the town gets like a lot of people coming in. Apparently, Coachella's hits them pretty harder. I mean, it's good.
Coachella's 2 weekends. 2 weekends.
Right.
Stagecoach is only 1 weekend.
Right. And I think Stagecoach is much more tame.
Yeah. Speaking of tame, we got a couple topics over here.
Okay.
And we got a Nick game tonight, so we're gonna try to not go over too long. Okay.
Go Knicks.
Go Knicks. Should have worn my Knicks hat.
Shit. Should have put my jacket. Wait.
The floor seats are going for $46,000 a ticket, Matthew.
Hold on.
The cheapest seat I think was like $3,000.
Can I put on my Knicks jacket?
No, you don't need it.
Okay.
If you'll on the next one, it's tied 2-2.
Yeah, they suck. Okay, we're rooting hard.
Go Knicks. All right, we got a bunch of topics, and we're gonna start with. I don't know how do we come in hot on the topics, or do we ease in to the people?
Hit me. What's going on?
Okay. We finally have an arrest. Everybody's been waiting for it, but it's not the arrest that we want. And the reason it's not the arrest that we want is because of the auto pen. So David Morans, I believe his name is.
Mm-hmm.
David Morans has been, let's see. So David Morans.
This is the Fauci guy.
The Fauci guy. I'm sorry. I'm very unprepared today. Okay. Anthony Fauci's advisor, indicted by the Department of Justice, David Morans, 78 years old, has been charged with conspiracy against the United States, destruction, alteration, falsification of records in federal investigations, concealment, removal, and mutilation of records, and aiding and abetting. That's Anthony Fauci's advisor. So if it's Fauci's advisor, you have to think that Anthony Fauci has to be somewhat involved, allegedly, don't you think? Or was this guy just acting on his own?
I mean, I think at this point, you know, were they for hiding emails or something? They got him for, moved conversations off official government systems onto private email, you know, so, you know, I think it's symbolic, but I don't think it's much.
Not much. And
I mean, they'll probably get some.
Anthony Fauci.
I mean, I'm sure he made a lot of money, is making a lot of money, and he's living pretty well right now.
I mean, yeah, but still, the whole COVID thing and everything, and
I think I just don't think that there's any. I don't know. What are they gonna? I mean, they're charging this guy with covering up. I mean, the reality is that it's everybody, including Saturday Night Live, makes fun of the protocols that were put in place. In hindsight, they were what they were, and I think Fauci definitely acted. There's no good explanation for understanding how he behaved and what he did, and but I don't know. I don't know where the will would come from, where the ability would come from a system that's really designed to defend people like Fauci.
But Fauci doesn't think it was on him. There's that video going around. He's walking out of I think it's in New York City. He's walking out of a restaurant or a building or something, and they ask him, about the lockdowns. He said, "Oh, it's Trump's idea for the lockdowns."
Well, look, I mean,
it's Trump's idea for the masks. It's Trump. Trump did the vaccines. It's all on Trump, which actually, kind of is.
No. Trump holds a lot of the buck stops at the Resolute desk. I mean, Trump owns a big share of it. I mean, it's at the time, the idea of shutting down the economy, there were a lot of people that were like, what the hell are you talking about? And there were doctors. There were a lot of doctors all over the world saying, what are you talking about? We've had, when Fauci said, it's like somebody should make a game of this stuff, Rudy. But when Fauci said, nobody will ever shake hands again 2 weeks into the thing or 10 days into the thing, that's when I said, like, why is that guy, the guy in the white smock, why is he saying that? We've had plenty of, outbreaks, pandemics and whatnot. And they go like this, and so it was just odd. And everything he did kind of, the story was Trump came out and said, Tony and Deb came into my office and say, shut it down. Can you imagine? Shut it down. And, but so, I mean, they all share in it. And he never gave a good reason. I mean, he was just being dishonest. He contradicted himself left and right. And, he was excused for contradicting himself all the time. He said in the beginning that masks, what we knew since the Spanish flu, masks don't stop spread and have demonstrated more harm than good. When later he said you got to put on masks, people said, well, why did you say not to? Oh, we needed them. I mean, I don't see what you'd actually I mean, it was, I don't know. I think they'll get some good sound bites out of this. They'll get some good quotes, but it's stuff you and I and a lot of people already know, and I don't think Fauci's too worried.
Well, yeah, and not only that, but he's been pardoned, so nothing really could happen to him, except the public perception of him. Maybe this David Morin talks and squeals like a pig, and things come out.
Well, you've had people, right? Like, who was the fat guy that headed up the bald guy with the goat?
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
I mean, he basically said everything we did was crazy. I mean, under oath. I mean, you've had. There are people. It's like it's a religion. They'll never. There's just that number of people that'll never switch no matter what.
Yeah.
And on both sides, like you said, because like we've said a lot of times, like Trump does own a big chunk of this. You can explain it, rationalize it, excuse it, overlook it. People on this side say, so I don't know. I at the least it would, hopefully they'll disclose some things that are make it a little uncomfortable for Fauci. I think he's a bad guy.
Hopefully he, hopefully he squeals. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to. I mean, by the way, like preemptive pardons, like for whatever may come, is a pretty odd thing. It was treated as kind of normal, and we just kept moving. But I mean, it's pretty odd that like an administration would pardon like a crew of people, basically saying like, just in case. That alone would be, like any serious audit of that would be like, the hell is going on here? Why does this guy need a pardon?
Well, if Trump would have done it, he would have been protecting his family.
I think he will do it. I think he'll pardon. He'll do a preemptive pardon on him and his whole
clan.
Whoever's left with him.
So Matthew, real quick, David Morans destroyed evidence of highly illegal gain of function research.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look, I mean, for 5 years, they just kept recycling. What we knew after 5 days was that there was this lab in Wuhan. And the CIA said it was there, everybody, and they literally told us it was from like some bat. And they killed a few people in China, allegedly, that were tied to it. A few prominent doctors out there, a few whistleblowers. They kept, and then like, new findings suggest it might have had something to do with the gain of function lab in Wuhan. Like, and by the way, like, I don't even, the origins of it are one thing, but how it actually expressed itself. There was the bigger story to me is the protocols that were put in place by Fauci, Trump, whoever, the governors. I mean, the governors didn't all have to listen, right? I mean, we were a mess during that time, right? Remember, like but for me, the whole story, the big story is like, what the hell were you doing? Like, you could go and read any annual mitigation strategy paper from any Harvard, Johns Hopkins, from any year between 1950 and now, and they'll all say never do these lockdowns. Masks are no good. And all of a sudden we're doing that stuff, and nobody's asking in real time why we're doing it.
It was a very, very, very bad time, Matthew. I hope someone goes down.
So do I. I do.
And by the way, while you're going down, go to citizenoutbreak.com and purchase one of our games, or you could also get a smaller hoarder pack, and it makes a great little pocket stuffer.
Yeah, we also have a surplus pack.
And we have a surplus pack. It's a little bit bigger if you like to have bigger things in your pocket. Another person that is going now, it's crazy because Pam Bondi was really kind of like not doing anything, and then all of a sudden you got this new guy. What's his name? Todd Blanche comes in and he's like, he's coming in hot. He's coming in hot because now he's going after Comey too. James Comey just also today gets indicted by the Department of Justice for the second time.
This is for the seashells, right?
For the seashells. Now it's I guess it's a threat against the president, a threat to kill the president. I guess I'm not sure what the charges are. Yeah,
that's the charge, like making a threat and then making like an interstate threat as well.
Interstate threat, right? I mean, seashells could be a very, if you're spelling it out, it means a thing. Do I think they have a case? No. And knowing that what these judges do, no. And Comey actually just released a statement. Can I read it?
Yeah, please.
Okay, Comey. Well, they're back. Yeah. This time about a picture of seashells on a North Carolina beach a year ago. And this won't be the end of it. But nothing has changed with me. I'm still innocent. I'm still not afraid. And I still believe in the independent federal judiciary. So let's go. But it's really important that all of us remember this is not who we are as a country. This is not how the Department of Justice is supposed to be. And the good news is we get closer every day to restoring those values. Keep the faith.
Yeah.
James Comey.
Jimmy Comey.
Well, look, they are going after people, and you can arrest somebody, and we've seen it before, but getting those charges to stick is a different thing. Now, this David Morin's guy, Fauci's right-hand man or whatever, allegedly, whatever, his assistant, I don't know, advisor, whatever you want to call him, maybe there's a little bit more evidence there than James Comey's seashells.
Yeah, I mean, with Jim Comey, to me, it's a really weak look, actually, because it shows like you can't actually do anything about the crimes that he did commit. So we're gonna. I mean, I hate Comey. We know, I mean, they were spying on Americans. They were spying on the president. They framed this whole bullshit narrative about him being a Russian spy. Comey was a bad guy when he was in office. He did a lot of, he was very political in that office, and he did some really, really sleazy things that have been proven testified to. People have gone to jail, falsifying warrants, So I guess they just have no power to really go after him or anybody that did that. So they're going to go get him for putting seashells on a beach. I think it's a bad look.
Yeah,
I'd like it if he goes to jail, but I think it's a bad look.
Yeah, I'd love to if this guy goes to jail, but I don't think it sticks, and I think it's kind of weak.
Yeah, I think it's
maybe there's something else that we don't know. Maybe something else is going to come out like tonight or tomorrow, and they're going to be like, oh, and by the way, it's also this. It wasn't just the seashells.
Look, they had that IG report, and anybody can go watch the Chris Wallace interview with Jim Comey, and that thing was pretty bad, and it listed, all different kinds of negligence and just really bad acts by Comey and his FBI, but it stopped short of actually saying it was criminal. I mean, the level of negligence and his answers were ridiculous. That interview was crazy, but there's no, it's like, who's going to put him in trouble? There's so many. The entire government was working together on that. I mean, with the media, who's gonna actually do anything about that? So, I guess that this looks like Trump is like, you got to do something. They're like, okay, we'll get him for a parking ticket.
Yeah, a parking ticket.
I mean, this is like not that. Look, it's wasted. It's wasted.
It's a wasted.
It makes him look ineffectual. I mean, we know a lot of what we know. We know so much of what happened was made public. So this just concludes for me that
Sorry,
who's that?
Sorry, it's our next topic.
Oh, go to the next topic.
Our next topic, Matthew. I like to watch a good fight. I like wrestling, WWE. I like UFC. I like the new wrestling thing, RAF.
What's RAF?
That's that Hulk Hogan wrestling, the freestyle wrestling, Real American Freestyle.
Right.
So Jake Paul, he's a boxer now.
Yeah.
Right. He's been boxing, great promoter, but he's also promoter. Right. So he was giving an interview. He's got a fight coming up. Not him, but he's got a bout that he's promoting. It's coming on July 11th, and it's going to be on Netflix. And his promotion is called MVP, and he's been doing some press about it, and they're asking him about ring boys instead of ring girls. The girls that come out with the cards. Round one, and you have the girl coming out in the bikini, and she does the thing. So a reporter asked him about ring boys. Can we listen to what he's going to say? Hold on, are you ready, Matthew?
Mm-hmm. And the issue or the theme about the ring girls in an all-female fighting card, and the ring boys? Sexualization of women. You want ring boys? Well, a couple of people have said that why don't have boys or none of any of them at all. I just wanna bring to the attention the conversation.
Jake, if anybody wants to submit an application to be a ring boy to MVP, send it to that young man.
It's a good answer.
Kamala Harris.
My question is, Poach.
That was a good answer.
Send it to Kamala Harris.
That was good.
So this is an all-female fight. I understand where I'm sorry. I understand where the guy's asking the question because it's an all-women's boxing or whatever fight it is. And I understand, like, okay, so like when the guys fight, you have the girls come out. So why not have guys come out and do the ring when it's girls?
Well, you want guys to watch. Maybe it's another reason why guys will watch more girls.
Right, but maybe, yeah. So like if you want girls to watch, maybe you have like a guy come out and do it. Like a muscular guy, like, you know, like the...
Well, you could send your application to Kamala Harris.
Yeah, I just don't understand. Like, why ask such a stupid question?
It's the world we're living in right now.
I just don't understand.
I don't.
Like you're a journalist and you have all these. I mean, on one hand, the question got out there and it got a little viral. So that's
what he did. No, that's what I'm saying. He did his job. I mean, that's, you know, if you get that, you did your job.
Yeah, so I guess maybe it worked out. But Matthew, what do you think? Should we have ring boys or ring girls?
I don't need ring boys anywhere.
I don't know. I just they're called ring girls for a reason.
I think, you know, one thing that I like is all this kind of woke Justin Trudeau, Katy Perry. You know, they're like in my mind, they're like the face of everything terrible. You know, that's like we talked about them last week. The whole woke thing, this whole crazy shit that's, you know, been going on the last bunch of years. UFC has pretty much been removed from it. Boxing, which is, you know, I don't know, professional boxing is pretty much done for me. Like, it's tough to find anything. There's not really been a lot of good or exciting fights there, but it's nice that the woke stuff doesn't pinch in on that. You know, that Dana White's done a pretty good job of letting UFC. I mean, those in UFC, those people are like killing each other. You know, there's not like, you know, I mean, so it's kind of been they haven't been able to penetrate it, which is nice. Even you remember, like, even during COVID, they had Fight Island.
Fight Island.
Right. I mean, they you know, remember they tried when they were trying to finish Joe Rogan. Israel Adesanya said, "Joe Rogan's my boy. Everybody else can go." You know.
Yeah.
So I mean, I like that. These guys are fighters, and the energy is that we don't have to, you know, dance with this bullshit. And I like it. I like Jake Paul's answer.
Yeah, these reporters are always trying to get these UFC guys and Jake Paul and these boxers with these woke gotcha moments.
So there was that thing, because Sean Strickland, who basically just goes out there and, you know, says a lot of shit. Like, I guess he's just trying to go as far. He's like the white Kanye. What do you call it? There was that thing when they cut his mic, you know, because TKO owns UFC.
Yeah.
And so there was that thing where in the last fight, he was saying, I think, like, you know, stuff against homosexuals, and I think, and they cut his mic off. Right. And there was like, Dana White got pissed off about that. But I think, you know, I think for the most part, that's been one great thing about the fight world, is that it hasn't been really touched too much by the woke stuff.
Yes, has not. Moving on, Matthew.
Where are we going, Rudy?
All right, we're going to go to the UAE, United Arab Emirates, has just left OPEC. And for all of you guys and people listening that don't know what OPEC is, that is basically the oil cartel. And they dictate how much oil is produced and released at a given time. It was built in the 1960s, and it's basically producing nations cooperating on oil strategy to maximize revenues and stabilize prices coordination that benefited everyone more than going at it alone. So basically, they meet up and they say, all right, we need to produce X amount of oil and release it. And basically, that's how they stabilize the prices of oil.
Mm-hmm.
Matthew, do you want to tell us what countries are in OPEC?
Do I want to tell you what countries are in OPEC?
Yeah.
Well, Saudi's in Saudi Arabia.
Yes.
Kuwait.
All right. You want help?
Russia,
Iran,
Russia, Iran, Saudi,
Congo. There's some little countries: Libya, Nigeria, Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, and Venezuela.
Venezuela, Kuwait, Iraq, Iran, Gabon, Equatorial Guinea.
Yeah, Congo, Algeria. So basically, the majority of the oil-producing countries, except for the biggest oil producing
the United States of America.
So now you have UAE removing themselves from OPEC. And why is
Russia's not in OPEC?
I thought, Russia is not in it. It's not in it?
Mm-mm.
I thought they were.
Mm-mm.
Huh. Well, OPEC produces 40% of the oil supply in the world.
It's OPEC plus.
Oh, they're in OPEC plus.
Yes.
Okay, so they're in
Coca
OPEC.
Light, Coca Plus.
Okay, so who's in plus?
Well, UAE is in OPEC plus too. Or is leaving both. Yeah, so they're leaving both.
OPEC plus. Hold on. Is there somebody different in OPEC plus? Russia, Kazakhstan, Mexico, Azerbaijan, Oman, Malaysia, Sudan, and South Sudan, Bahrain, and Brunei. Okay, so that you have more countries that are in it. Interesting. So UAE leaves, and why is that important? Matthew.
Well, you know, the whole thing you said is price stabilization. So you have these guys, this cartel gets together and they keep, you know, they say, we'll only produce this much, you'll produce that much. And, you know, out of OPEC, it's been Saudi that's kind of been the swing lead on that, you know, the big dog in OPEC. And UAE leaving and them now saying we're going to produce whatever we want, take some of the teeth away from, you know, take some of the teeth and the ability to stabilize away from OPEC and Saudi.
All right. Well, there's a couple things going on over here. So number one, UAE was giving a lot of money towards OPEC, meaning that they, you know, they're constantly giving money, building production capacity, and they, you know, they can't really do their own thing. So they have Iran, Saudi Arabia, they're doing their thing, and they're kind of like handcuffed as much as for what they're allowed to give out, the oil that they're allowed to give out into the world. They don't rely really on the Strait of Hormuz. They have another path to give out their oil. So right now they're basically sitting there and saying, okay, well, we are stuck by this OPEC pact when we're getting bombed by one of our OPEC members.
Right.
So why not just release?
Well, you know, Saudi with oil, if people start producing a lot more and the price goes down, that's not, you know, that's tough for Saudi. Right. And the, you know, prices and everything staying above a certain level, you know, you got to cover costs, and Saudi's running, government. They're reallocating a lot right now because they haven't been profitable with where oil's been for a while.
Yeah. So if UAE leaves their pipeline, which is the Fujairah pipeline, if I didn't pronounce that right, I'm sorry. it bypasses the Hormuz, like I said, and UAE is the third largest OPEC member. So if they bypass it and OPEC is keeping oil prices high, they basically unlock about a million extra barrels per day. So that actually helps out the rest of the world right now in a place where the Strait of Hormuz is stuck. So now the question is, how many other countries that are in this OPEC decide, you know what, we don't need OPEC, we're going to leave?
Yeah, I mean, that's a risk, I guess. That's a risk down low. I mean, they're, like I said, Saudi Arabia needs oil prices higher to run. They're running at deficits right now. I mean, oil's been going up, but they're also not making money elsewhere because they're in the middle of this war. So I mean, it destabilization of OPEC, long term, fluctuations in oil. You lose that mechanism, or that mechanism loses its grip on the ability to really stabilize.
Right. So let me ask you this, Matthew. So United States is not part of OPEC or OPEC plus. They're would you say the largest oil producer in the world?
Yeah, I think we are.
So what if Trump is back on the back channels? I don't know. Maybe I'm making this out too smart of him. I don't know. But this is what I would do. I would back channel and I would make my own type of OPEC with the United States leading the way as the head top. And you create your own with various pipelines, and you bring in Russia. You already control Venezuela oil. And you basically make your own, and those who don't want to negotiate and play nice, you basically screw them. So who are you really screwing if you create your own OPEC and the United States is the leader? Number one, nobody's trading in yuan. They're going away from BRICS. You already had India say, no, we're going to stick to trading in US dollars and petrodollars. That's number one. The petrodollar is a big thing for Trump to keep that around. Mm-hmm. And we don't really hear anybody talking about BRICS except yesterday or today.
Yeah, that was all the
that was all the rage. BRICS. So what if Trump is planning to do this and he's got all these countries lined up, and then he brings them in and says, you know what? I now control my own type of OPEC. So China, guess what? You got to play by my rules. Europe, remember all those bad things that you were saying about me? Guess what? Now you have to buy from us.
Well, he's been saying in every speech he would say about this, they should buy from us. They should buy from us. I mean, it's just expensive, right? You're shipping it further. It's just, part of Europe's problem, right? When in 2016, when Trump was going over there saying, you want me to protect you from your gas man, Putin wants you to develop other ways to get energy, and they laughed at him. Then the U.S. and Europe decided to blow up the pipeline, so they can either buy from us, which is very expensive, continue to buy from Russia, which is what they've largely been doing. And then with the Hormuz streets being closed, it's been pricing for everybody. And long term, broadly, America isn't as vulnerable to that because we've got our own oil.
Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how this goes. But right now, oil today was at, I believe, it got up to 101. It closed at, it's down right now. It's at 99, which is still very high. I mean, I drove by the gas station on the way to work, and literally, I think it popped up 20 cents from yesterday and 30 cents from last week.
Yeah, so, but what's it at in your area right now?
It's about 420. Regular. Cash.
Money.
So let's see what happens, Matthew. All right, let's move along. We are running out of time. We got some time, but we're running out of time. We need to go on to our next topic, and the next topic is King Charles has arrived.
Yeah, I actually saw some of his speech.
I did not hear the speech. I did see the video.
Trump's speech. I saw a clip of Trump's
speech. You know, Trump is a distant 15th cousin of his.
Yeah, I love that. That's funny.
Which makes Trump royalty.
He's a king.
He's a king. And it's funny because I was watching the video of King Charles walking into the chamber today, and Congress all got up and they were taking, you said Omar Rahman, she's taking video of him. And you have all these Democrat liberals and the Republicans too taking video of him. The same people that were out there chanting "No kings, no kings, no kings" are smiling and cheering and giving him a standing ovation to the only king that was there.
Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous, isn't it?
No kings, and now you have a king.
It's ridiculous.
And, yeah. What's the deal? What is this?
It's pretty ridiculous.
I mean, look, it's King Charles. You get up, you clap, you show respect to the king. And, but again, these are the same people that were chanting "No kings." They went on rallies, "No kings." They were on TV saying "No kings." And then now king is there and they're saying, "We love the king."
That king they like.
That king they like.
They just say Trump.
And isn't it funny how we fought for our freedom to get away from that king?
Yes.
And we had elections here.
Yes.
And if you want to say that one election was rigged and another one was not rigged, we all went out to vote, and you get what you get. And maybe you get a little upset, but a king is not voted in.
No.
The United States president, whether you like it or you don't, was voted in. And if he was a king, Fauci would be in jail, Comey would be in jail, and a handful of other people, maybe two hands, would be in jail, and he'd be running amok, and there'd be gold everywhere.
You say it, and you're kind of kidding, but you bring up like a great point, right? I think people are all like on the left. They like to say like he's a fascist, and we're we're losing our republic. Truth is, the American republic and the system, we've had so many, like, it's still working exactly the way it was intended to. And so when on the tariffs, for anybody that paid attention to that was an amazing display of how incredible this country is. It made it all the way to, people hated the tariffs, liked the tariffs, thought it was good policy, bad policy, but it was challenged. It got in front of the Supreme Court. They made the case, and the system worked. I mean, you can go and you can read and I would tell anybody to do it because it's really a great display of America really showing how incredible we are. Because that whole thing, you have people that are and that is exactly the way our founders meant for the process to work. And Trump's policy got, the judges ultimately ruled that it wasn't constitutional, and he had to go back and try and figure out another way to, another law to use. That's the way our system works. And it's an amazing display. And, for all the, bullshit and corruption, and there's a lot of it, there's never been anywhere better than America, and there's probably never going to be anywhere better than America. And Ronald Reagan said, there's nowhere else to run. This is it. This is freedom's last stand. So
there's nowhere else to run. Freedom's last stand. And then you have people running out of New York.
Well, that's that's self-preservation, and they've got the right to do that. And thank God different states have different laws in America, and you can go and try to pursue happiness wherever you can. You're only given the right to pursue happiness, Wojciech. You're not given the right to happiness. That's something that people miss up a lot.
Do you think King Charles, when he came to visit Trump in the Oval Office, he went to the Oval Office, right? Or where did he go? Or to the Garden?
I mean, they showed up, right?
Where did he see him? Didn't they sit in what room did they sit in? What's that room?
Were they in the Rose Garden?
Rose Garden? I don't know. He was somewhere. Do you think that Trump offered him like a Big Mac?
Yeah. Look, Trump. Nothing phases Trump.
Like, King Charles, I'd like for you to try an American cuisine. Here's a Big Mac.
Yeah, exactly.
Like if Trump went to go visit the Queen, did she give him some tea and crumpets?
Give him some tea and crumpets. I mean, his mother loved Queen Elizabeth.
His mother thought did you hear this? His mother thought that King Charles was very cute and she had a crush on him. What a world we live in.
It's pretty amazing. There was, by the way, I mean, we're not going to get there, I guess, but there was another assassination attempt this week.
Oh, no.
Oh, I thought we were.
No, it's.
Oh, okay, I thought you were breaking up. Okay.
No, we have.
I'm here for the people.
We got some minutes. We got some minutes now. Look, we're not breaking any news here. Everybody knows that there was another assassination attempt on the president, and it happened at the. Why don't you give the play-by-play while I bring something up?
Well, they had the White House, the press dinner, where Trump supposedly decided once and for all when Seth Meyers was on
the White House Correspondents' Dinner, Matthew.
Yeah, the White House Correspondents' Dinner. And Trump was with the mentalist up on the stage, and then all of a sudden a guy ran in. I think he shot one CIA officer, and they got him, though. They arrested the guy, right?
So the man was...
And there's a lot of great memes after. My favorite meme is the one of Trump taking a picture. Have you seen that one on the floor?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one of him taking... I like the one where Biden comes over and sniffs him.
I didn't see that.
Oh, yeah. So the man's name was Cole Thomas Allen.
Tell me who's Cole Thomas Allen.
Cole Thomas Allen is a teacher from Torrance, California. 31 years old. They call him an educator. He's got a prestigious engineering degree from I think it's Cal State. I believe it's Cal State.
Caltech?
No, is it Cal State or Caltech? Anyway, he's from. It's a very prestigious school. It's hard to get into. He is left of the left. He partake in the No Kings rally that we just spoke about, and number one, he traveled by train. He bypassed everything, because when you travel by train, I guess, and we know this because in New York nobody checks you in the subway, that no one's really checking you. So anything could happen on a train, which is kind of scary. And that's also why I don't go on a New York subway, because anything could happen. Anybody could carry anything. And that's exactly what he did. Now, when you fly in a plane,
one of many reasons. Yeah.
Yeah. When you fly in a plane, you are able to take a gun with you, but you have to check it in. It has to go under the plane, and you have to declare it and register it, right? It has to be like registered with the plane that you are carrying a weapon or a gun, and it's underneath, right? The other thing is, Matthew.
Yeah.
We hear so much about the Democrats and other people, not just Democrats, but I know other people, that they shout from the rooftops, no guns, no guns, no guns. And somehow California, which has one of the strictest gun policies, this guy somehow got a gun. Okay. Not only did he get a gun, but he was also in the same camp where he opposed guns. And then he traveled from California to Chicago, from Chicago to DC by train. Okay. he got to, it's the Hilton, right?
Yeah.
Okay. He got to the Hilton, checked into the Hilton. Nobody checked him out. There was no security. Maybe there was a doorman at the door. There was no real security. There was no Secret Service, no sniffers, no dog sniffers, nothing sniffing anything in the hotel. Anybody could have checked in. There could have been an Iranian terrorist, God knows, whatever, in that hotel where this was going on. And then they had lax security. The guy came down some stairwell, and then he ran.
Yeah, you saw the video of him running?
Out of hell, through security, through the metal detector. And I guess security was a little lax because everybody was already in. Nobody else was coming through. Everybody was accounted for. And then this guy runs through. And they're like, what the hell?
He was running pretty fast.
He was running fast. I mean, I think President Donald Trump said that an NFL team should sign him. So he comes in, and here's where the thing and this is what I'd like to talk about, Matthew.
Mm-hmm.
Not so much of what this Cole character did, because we know he was shooting. Now, from where he wasn't really close enough to the president or anybody to shoot them, because from what I understand is where he ran in, you actually have to run down another area to get to where they were.
But he did shoot like a CIA officer, didn't he? Or security officer?
Security or a Secret Service agent.
Secret Service.
Yeah, but that's because they were shooting at him, so he was shooting back.
Does he have a case?
I'm sure he's got a case. It's DC. Everybody has a case. But my thing is this. Now, I was at somewhere over the weekend, and I'm not going to say where I was over the weekend, but there were certain people that were mentioning certain things like conspiracy theories. And it's funny because when we were during COVID, everybody was making fun of people about conspiracy theories, and you got to be crazy about the conspiracy theories. And now people are saying that President Trump planned this shooting. And this was something to get away from the debacle that's happening right now in the world with Iran, to get the eyes off of Iran, because Iran is winning the war and they need some kind of, shall we say, distraction, false flag, to get away from Iran talk and the high talk of oil and gas. And poor Trump got shot at again for the third time, which I like to actually say this was the fourth attempt, because they're not counting the time when somebody came to Mar-a-Lago to try to kill him because he wasn't there. So while the press is saying there was 3 attempts, there was actually 4 attempts. And
what do you think?
More than we don't even hear of. What's that?
So wait, so what was the question?
The question is, do you think this was real, or this was a conspiracy theory that it's not real, it was planned, and it was a setup? This was all set up.
Well, so look, I mean, you can get yourself, or I can get myself to a place where I'm questioning everything, and I do. But, you know, the reality is, to me, like, there's a few things. One, when you're describing, when mainstream Democrats and media are describing the president as a Russian spy that's overthrowing the republic, a Nazi that's coming to end you, and a Gestapo guy that's racist and a pedophile, and this, you know, when you're being told that by people that you find to be credible and everything, it's rational to go and have opinions about this guy, and you know, like, if you believe this guy is Hitler, maybe you think you're doing God's work by going and doing this. I think, you know, we're in a place now where there's been 3 attempts, and we just move on. And I mean, how crazy is that? Like, this is, like I said it, and it's like on our show, it makes a end of the hour conversation. Another attempt on the president's life. You know, it's and did you see Obama's tweet?
Yeah, we don't know. He said, I believe he said,
we don't know. You know, basically the same bullshit. He speaks,
yeah,
speaks like an asshole. I mean,
we don't
you know,
know the
look,
circumstances. Really? You don't know the circumstances?
I mean, so my point is that it's like, can you sit here and you can come up with all kinds of theories and everything like that. And, do I believe that the government lies about everything and that it's corrupt? Yes. But, 3 times we have been told, okay, that there is an assassination attempt, and 3 times kind of we're just keep on moving fast past it. Like, this ain't taking anybody's eye off of anything for more than 20 seconds. It's weird that within 20 minutes, it's not like anybody, it's like on the left, people are still like, that to me is the crazier thing. Like, they'll keep calling him a Gestapo, and they're lying. And this is the result of when you're using those words so irresponsibly. This is the result. This is what happens.
And by the way, the news is so quick these days. It's like, boom, 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 boom. There's something. A lot of people aren't even talking about it today.
Well,
we're on Tuesday. They already kind of stopped. Yesterday, they were talking about it because it was Monday. It was a news cycle. Today, we're already talking about King Charles.
Right, but that's my point. I mean, and to me, like, the question about whether it was a conspiracy theory or not, I'm like, to me, the bigger problem is, and the bigger problem, thank God the president's okay. Hopefully the Secret Service member is okay. But it's a big problem that these attempts on irrespective of whether you want to believe that these attempts are just kind of, they happened Saturday and they're out of the news cycle by Tuesday.
Right.
Like, it's like, that kind of ensures that there's going to be more of this, because they're going to get right back to calling him a Nazi and, the guy that's overthrowing this. And when you're doing that, they've desensitized people to presidential assassination, which was the top of the top. Like, there was nothing in terms of, you're not allowed to even go there. You're not allowed to think. Now it's just like, hey, that happened last week. So what? Yeah. I mean, that to me is a huge deal about how far we've come in this thing. And it's scary when you think about it, like, because what they have no boundaries to where they'll go with this nonsense.
We live in a crazy world, Matthew, where,
look, Rudy, all we can do is try to make a little sense out of it for an hour for our people.
Yeah. And I just can't, I sit here and we talk about it and I ask questions. I try to make sense of things. And I just don't know where we're going and how I see people out there. And maybe it's us, maybe it's you and me, but I try to make common sense of things that are going on in the world. And I just don't see common sense. I see, you got Jimmy Kimmel goes on TV, does a mock, roast of the president. Totally tasteless. Jimmy Kimmel is not funny at all. His writers are not funny. I don't know how this guy is still on TV. I don't know how he got on TV, because he's not funny. He never was funny. No. There's so many other people that are a lot funnier than him. He's nowhere close to Johnny Carson, Jay Leno, or David Letterman. And somehow this clown is still on TV. Like, that doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, there's no more comedy.
He's not funny.
No, none of them are funny. That late night thing is done.
Hit pieces, and he's only going after one president.
Well, it's just not intelligent anymore because there's so much anger behind it.
There's a lot of anger.
Saturday Night Live used to go after everybody. And Phil Hartman went after. Yeah, but it's just not intelligent anymore. I mean, it's just they hate Trump so much.
I don't think the people that are on there are very funny anymore.
Well, they're not. But like, the problem is the generation now, they're all politicized. There's no more comedy. I mean, we spoke about this, a couple of weeks ago. Like, there's just no more comedy left as an art form, because even Dave Chappelle now is like, he's turned into another, like, he just can't, like, he's finally hit that pasture where he's just like thinking that he's his shit is not funny anymore. It's like they're Saturday Night Live. They used to eviscerate everybody on the right, on the left, whatever. But it was funny. It was intelligent. You know what I mean? It wasn't coming from such an angry place. And it's like, it's just not, it's not interesting. Like they might as well just take out voodoo dolls of Trump and be like for an hour and a half, like beating up pillows of Trump or something.
Yeah, I'm surprised that we haven't seen like somebody with half a brain. Remember we had in Living Color and you had Mad TV. Like now is the perfect time to come up with something that rivals against.
Well, you got a few problems. You got a few problems. One, young kids don't watch movies or TV anymore. They watch they watch TikTok. Their attention span, like you talk to someone young about movies, I don't think they don't know movies. They don't even know what they are, movies. Most of them. They tell me they don't watch movies. They watch TikTok and they watch like things that are 15 seconds.
Right, but you could then you could have an alternative SNL where it's 15-second clips, but you have a combination of.
Well, my cousin actually in India is doing these short form things on YouTube. It's like a 30-second clips, and I don't know. There are stuff. It's like different, but the other thing is like these kids are so politicized. They're just not funny anymore. Like the idea of being funny, like you have to break social norm, and that's another thing. There's no more guardrails, right? So there's kind of no social mores to like break anymore because everything is in bounds so long as you're against Trump, and you can't like everything. You're not allowed to say man or woman when you're a kid now. I think if you identify like as a guy or a girl, you're racist.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, I think comedies is it's tough to find anything really. I don't know. I don't think kids know what comedy is.
No, definitely not. Definitely not.
Yeah.
Well, all right, everybody. Remember, citizenoutbreak.com. You could buy our game there or on Amazon. Please
or
share
Instagram.
On Instagram too. But share our Instagram, Citizen Outbreak. And subscribe, share, comment, like our podcast on Apple Podcasts, iTunes, as well as Spotify. And we are also, if you want to get a good look at what we look like, we're on YouTube. Citizen Outbreak.
You're looking good, Wojciech.
I'm a little tired, Matthew. It was a rough weekend. But thank you very much for tuning in, and we will see you next week.